Hello, everybody. Welcome to Marlicia's Meanderings. I am Marlicia, and it's been a while since I've recorded, I think, at least by myself. This is a video I've been wanting to do for a long time, but I just haven't had the time to do it. I wanted to introduce a new read along that I wanted to do, and it has to do with exploring public domain books. So I have reached out to a couple of people as co-hosts. To me, the no-brainer reach out was to Gavin, who is Genre Books, because he always has those little shorts about public domain books, and I think he's a font of knowledge. And he said yes, so he is on board to co-host, and I appreciate that. I will post a link to his channel in the description box below the video. The other co-host also probably comes as no surprise. That's Talia at Talia Nerds Out, so she will also be a co-host for this along. It will run from January 1st, 2006 through February 28th, 2006. So we have 2 months of reading. And the thing I like about this along is that it will dovetail really nicely into any other longs that you might be reading. It could be any genre. It can be well, yeah, I think it can be any genre. It can be any length of books. It's wide open. I didn't realize how many books were in public domain. I was actually pretty surprised by that. So you won't have to feel constrained if you take part in this along, and you can kind of spread your wings a little bit maybe without having to buy anything. And it also allows for mood reading because you want to pick up something, maybe you want to read Anne of Green. I think Anne of Green Gables is a public domain book. I'll have to check, but you want to read that and it doesn't fit anything else, but it fits in this one. So I think it's very flexible. It's going to be very relaxed. There's no requirements except that it is a public domain book, and you can read it hard copy, you can listen to it, you can have it digital. It doesn't matter how you read the book, just as long as you read the book. So that's exciting. I do have a couple of things. I'm going to read this because I didn't memorize it, so I'm going to read this about what a public domain book is. And what I found out was for a book to be in public domain means its copyright has expired, or its creator relinquished rights, or it never had a copyright. So it means it's free for anyone to use, copy, adapt, or distribute without needing permission or paying royalties. So it belongs to everyone, essentially. You can build upon it for new creative works or simple access like classic novels or government documents. So essentially, you can play around with it and not have to worry about copyrights. And I'm going to put in the description box below the video more information regarding that. I don't want to belabor that too much, except to know that some key aspects for public domain is that there's no restrictions, there's expired copyright or creator relinquishment. Okay, so they put them in the public domain for whatever reason, the authors or the copyright holders. Government works, which I don't really think pertains to us. Maybe it does. I'm sorry, I don't want to make anybody sick. I'm just trying to move my paper around here. And Foundation for Creativity. Apparently, there's a place that allows you to use public domain as a cultural commons, so you can use it for building blocks for your work. Okay. I did want to mention that public domain can differ from country to country. Each nation has its own copyright laws, so that will be affecting people who are reading public domain. You have to look at your country of origin. I'm not going to be overly stringent. I mean, I think if it's before 1923, it's considered public domain everywhere. But there are some caveats, and you might want to look that up if you're concerned. But it's not we're not going to be like looking, with a fine tooth comb or magnifying glass to see if you're, public domain everywhere. Generally, it's in some places it's 50 versus 70 years after the death of the author. Um, but for example, in the United States, I think it's 70 years, but in Canada, it might be 50 years plus. Okay. In fact, let me see here. Here's a little bit of a breakdown for you. Copyright term length, the most common point of variation. Life plus 70 years, common in the United States, the EU and UK, Canada, and South America. Life plus 50 years, which is common in many parts of Africa and Asia. So you might find that the copyright for, say, James Bond is not expired in the U.S., but it is in Canada, so Canada can play around with James Bond. That's an example. So that's something to be aware of, okay? I really don't have a whole lot more to say about this, except to say that I probably am going to try to set up a Storygraph group for this. It's nothing very intense. It's just going to kind of have the different genres that you can read in the public domain, which is whatever genres are available. And I will have that in the description box below the video. I apologize if this is a little rushed, but I've got a ton of things to do today, and I really wanted to do this when I had the time to do it. But I hope this sounds interesting to people. I think it'll be a lot of fun to explore public domain books. I think that it's easiest to get them maybe digitally. I'm not positive. I think perhaps Gavin would have more information on that than I would. But in any event, if it's public domain and you happen to have a hard copy, I mean, you can still read that. That's not a problem. So anyway, yeah, I'm really excited about this. As I said, it will go for 2 months, January through February. And I hope you will join us. I think it'll be fun. And I thank you for meandering with me. God bless and have a super day.